You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. You got questions, we got answers over at ASO Consulting. Here's a request. Background: 30-year-old male, single, $200,000 in cash in a high-yield savings account, $70,000 in 401k, $80,000 in student loan debt at 3.5%. Yeah, pay half that off, man. Pay half it off. I work in sales with an income of around $175,000 a year. I rent an apartment with some roommates and I left this shithole. My rent is $750 a month. You're so winning. Oh my God, are you winning? Dude, I swear to God, if you get a girl pregnant, I will find out where you live and beat the shit out of you. Holy shit. Do not fuck this up, man. Do not. Right? You see, every old man right now is like, this guy's, he's living the best. It doesn't get any better than this. He's going to look back at these times when he's older like, I remember when I was just a sales guy with my bros, living in a cheap apartment, sleeping on a floor mattress. I was getting laid and having a good time and lots of money. I didn't realize how great it was at the time. Don't fuck this up. Okay? Don't drive drunk. Don't knock up a girl. Don't get married. Just please don't fuck this up. The money I'm making is too good to leave, and I refuse to invest in property here. I want to invest a lot of this cash ASAP. I like Jason. Oh, I got a link to Jason Hartman. Yes, I like Jason Hartman a lot per your recommendation. Rental property seems like the best investment for me. Request: pros and cons of rental property as an investment. 2, what would you do with my cash? All right. And I said to you, I can't tell you what to do. I can't. I can give you option. Maybe you young people got to realize this. You need to be a licensed professional. Say, this is what I would do. All right. You should do this with your money. I guess they're technically two. Like, what I would do with my money would be different than what you would do with your money, because we're two different people, 2 different points in our lives. But no one could say, do that with your money. All I could do is give you options. That's it. Then you got to go and further research, well, which one is best for you? And so I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just going to give you a bunch of options. And I'll tell you my background experience with rental property and to kind of further inform you and help you along with your decision. All right. Where was it? Think you paid. Look at that. Look at that. Short and sweet. All right. So let's go through a couple pros and cons. If you do it the Jason Hartman way, all right, Jason doesn't live or physically manage his properties. And I would say Jason Hartman is the foremost expert in that strategy. And I am not dismissing it. The man is way wealthier than I am. But if you're going to get into rental property, you're going to want to do it where you're not wasting your time. Okay? You don't have time to manage this. Not with that salary. You are killing it. And so you can't be pulled off your current job to go and maintain the property yourself. Now, I haven't taken any of Jason Hartman's courses. I've read a couple of his things, watched a couple of videos. But generally, and he does a full-fledged analysis. All right, there's these markets. This is where you want to buy. And the benefit of Jason's approach is that you could buy anywhere in the United States, arguably the world. I don't know if he's gone global. And you hire a rental management, a property management company to do all that shit for you. You basically just provide the capital. And that's it. They can take care of the fucking rest. All right. There's a lot of ifs involved, and Jason would be the guy to follow and find out. But holy shit, man, I don't know how he does it, because there are so many people along the way. And when I say people, I mean fuckwits that are points of failure, where the renters are going to fuck shit up. The employees of the property management firm are going to fuck shit up. The managers of the property management firm are going to fuck shit up. So unless if you get the right people in there, yes, you can do it. You could actually own a portfolio of properties, have it managed professionally and competently That's on autopilot. You are literally just an investor. That's it. You don't worry about the day-to-day operation. And not only do you have the benefits of potential capital gains in the price of the properties you own, in theory, you would generate a monthly income and rental income on top of it, right? That's one option. And I would suggest you go ahead and research that if you want. I mean, Jason's pretty expensive. I'd consume his material, read books, whatever it is, find out how he gets to that property management heaven where there's not a bunch of incompetent fuckwits fucking up your shit. You do not want to hop on a plane, have to fly out of fucking Alabama to say, what the fuck is going on, right? The other way you could possibly do rental property is that, which you can't do now because you don't want to buy property in the area you're in right now, is that you get to a point in time where you're independently remote. You got remote work so you can live wherever you want. Or you're in a place where you have a job, but you know you're going to be there for a while, like 10 years. You buy a duplex or a triplex or just a big enough house, and you rent out the extra rooms or the units to tenants. That's what I did. I like that because I was on the property. If there was something wrong, I could fix it. I lived there anyway. At one time, I did have 2 rental properties, and they weren't that far away from each other, but goddamn was it a pain in the ass. Something broke down. Had to fix this. Go rake the yard. Go mow the thing. Fucking pull leaves out of the gutter. It's a pain in the ass where you got to go to the other property, which, given your compensation, you don't have time for. There are other options by which you can invest in property. And it kind of depends, what do you want? Do you want cash flow or more capital gains? And what I like, if Cappy were a young man, well, I would have still done the rental property, just living in that. But another option for busy professionals who want investments in real estate but don't have the time to manage it, I'm going to once again introduce you to our Lord and Savior, real estate investment trusts, which are nothing more than mutual funds of different properties. And like mutual funds of different stocks, there's different real estate investment trusts that some focus on farmland, some focus on apartment buildings, some focus on malls, some focus on fucking empty land. All right. And you could get a diversified portfolio. Some real estates have a little bit of everything. Which one should I invest in, Aaron? The fuck if I know. That's a you job. If you even choose to invest in a real estate investment trust. But if you don't want to manage that shit, and keep in mind, like, there's real estate investment trusts where that's totally hands off, right? And that's managed by a property management firm. In the middle is Jason Hartman, where he's there contacting, setting up, choosing his own properties, which is going to take research on your part, by the way. And then there's living in the actual property, take care of all your own shit, but you don't have time to go get a portfolio of properties. The least time consuming is a real estate investment trust, because all you're doing is it's no different than making a stock trade or buying a mutual fund. You just set up a brokerage account, make sure that brokerage offers real estate investment trust, and there you go. The added benefit of a real estate investment trust is it's not one particular property or a handful of particular properties. It's spread across scores, maybe even hundreds of properties, just like the diversification in mutual funds. Now, I don't know if there's an index real estate investment trust, the index, and whether or not an index real estate investment trust beats actively managed real estate investment trust indexes. I don't know. But if you just want exposure to real estate, which is, I agree, even if you're not looking to own your own home, right? Let's say you're a very busy international traveling businessman or businesswoman, you don't have time to even manage your own home. But that doesn't mean real estate shouldn't be part of your portfolio. So, but if I was a busy professional and I didn't want to deal with the actual obligations and maintenance involved with an individual property, owning an individual property, rental property, apartment buildings, a real estate investment trust, that's the easiest way. Now, you're paying property management firms. Yes, you're going to get a dividend. It's not as much as if you do the managing yourself and save the money yourself on that expense. So when you actively manage a property, if done right, in theory, you'd have a higher monthly income. But the real estate investment trust, yes, you do get a dividend check, but it's not that much. I'd have to look up what the dividend yields are in those things. But obviously what you're going there for is exposure to real estate with no time. Just there it is. Do you own property? Yes, through a real estate investment trust. And it's diversified across some commercial, against some residential, some farmland, and whatever else. And then another way you may want to think about owning property, and I've talked about this before, is you just go buy some land. This is a whole other world that you get to research. Do I find arable land that I can rent out to a farmer? Do I just want to buy some land in an area I like that someday I may or may not move a trailer onto? Why do I want it? For whatever reason you want the land, I'm a little reluctant to just buy land. It is a good land. It's a great land. We shall call it our land. I would go get the book Reconnaissance Man first, do some traveling, explore the world, and find out where you want to live first. And once you find your perfect happy place that you want to live, then you go buy the land. Cappy, but I'm not ready to move. Who says you're moving? You're just buying the land. So that down the road, when it comes to you want to build something, you got the land. You're not paying land inflation. You bought it. Oh, I found this little hamlet in a valley and I wanted to buy my land. And I got this little parcel and it sat there for 20 years, but I'm finally old and retired now. I'm going to build my dream home in my dream valley. And then you build your little house. That's another way to do it. But that presupposes you know where you want to live and that you've reconnoitered the country, perhaps even the globe. So what do we got? We got the Jason Hartman way. We got you're living in an area long enough that it makes sense for you to buy a house and you rent out a room or two. Kind of like an Airbnb, or if you got an official duplex or triplex, lived in one unit, rented out the others. It's a pain in the ass. Before you do that, let me caveat. Don't do it where Democrats run the city council. You don't own your land there. The Democrats do. And they will pass all sorts of stupid fucking laws to make sure that you can increase rent prices. You don't want to deal with that. You don't invest in communist HOAs, which is basically what you are when you're a landlord in a major leftist shithole. But let's say you found a place that wasn't a Marxist shithole. You find a nice little house, you rent it out. Maybe you just get a big enough house, you rent it out to some buddies. That presupposes you have some reliable buddies that you know. 10 years later, you sell it, and then you go buy your dream home later. We did the real estate investment trusts, and we've done land. Trying to think what else is there. I think that's it. I think those are your options. But right now, given your situation, you're just not going to be able to actively manage the land or the property, I should say. So you're going to have to either, your options, as far as I can tell right now, are real estate investment trust. If you have the time to research and go buy the properties and find the correct property management firm, if you have time to do that management, maybe the Jason Hartman way, buying empty land, but this would presume you know where you want to live in your forever home. And that's it, because you don't want to buy property where you are now, where you could rent it out to your bros. But no, and I'll be honest with you, $750 a month, dude. Your property taxes and insurance, no matter what house you're going to buy in this country, is probably going to be more than that. It is $750 a month, man, dude. If you just do that for the next 10 years, you don't have to worry about money ever again. And you could, I know, oh, I want my own place. I get it. But if you just said, shit, 5 years, and you just started banking your money, tossing in the S&P 500, funding your 401k, paying off your debt, tossing money into a real estate investment fund. You divert, you get your silver, a little bit of crypto, whatever else. You start building up your portfolio. In 10 years' time, because not all your investments are going to be retirement funds that you can't withdraw from because of the tax benefits you get. You're going to have some investable assets outside of your retirement funds. Don't be surprised if in 10 years that you got enough money just to buy a fucking house that you want for cash. So if you could sacrifice now, by the time you're 40, which I know you think is the end of the world, but you're not old. You don't have to worry for the next half of your life. And I could just see buying an individual home or rental property off-site, getting involved with the physical ownership of an individual piece of property. I could see that just taken away from your life and being a fucking nightmare. All for of which I don't imagine is going to be a tremendous amount of cash flow. You'll be paid below minimum wage when it's all said and done. And then you expose yourself to lawsuits. You got to go to court, and fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I'd be looking to get into property where you don't have to actively manage it because you just don't have the time. And then down the road, you could liquidate whatever your land asset or property assets are to then go buy the actual piece of property you want. But right now, man, that iron is so hot in your furnace, you keep striking away at it. If you just do this for 5 years, man, $175,000 a year with your rent being $750 a month, holy fuck. That's your real asset. Let's put it in those terms. Your real asset is the situation you got now. You're making a boatload of fucking money and your expenses are incredibly low. Do not fuck this up. All right. And the fuck ups are going to come from things that probably aren't going to be necessarily financial. You're going to get a piece of property and you're going to get sued. You're going to buy a piece of property and the inspector's not going to do his job because inspectors, like Wyoming, is just a bunch of cousin fucking morons. Yeah, man, you're on the line. Stay there. That's where I'd be putting my efforts. And then I would evaluate those options I gave you for real estate. But yeah, I'll tell you this: pros and cons of owning property management, just to make sure I had addressed the title. The pros is about the capital gains. That's it. That's been my experience. Cash flow, yes, it can cash flow until the city decides to jack up your property taxes, which is what happened to me. I was very fortunate. I had mostly good tenants. I never really had a problem with my tenants. That's changing. And then the cons is it's just a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the fucking ass. For the amount of time, here's another thing you can do. You don't have time for this though, by the way. If you were looking, fifth or sixth way you might want to look into getting into real estate. I know it's got a bad reputation, but it would be flipping. But this presupposes you're very good at carpentry, that you could do most of the work yourself. You're not a hot girl with flashy tits. Tee, I'm going to pick out the pillows and the colors, and then my boyfriend and his guys are going to do all the work. But I'm the popular one. Follow me. Like, if you actually know how to do a lot of repairs for a house, you're getting paid in sweat equity. And you're actually facing a lower tax rate because you're not getting paid in income. You're getting paid capital gains. So you buy a dilapidated home that you can fix. Now, this is not, I'm not recommending this to you because you make enough money being a salesman. But if you are good with carpentry and you can fix a house up, that is where, okay, you buy a house for $100,000, you take whatever, $20,000 of your money, you fix it up, and you sell it for $170,000. What would your gain be? 100, 120, 170. So you make $50,000. That's the sales price minus your cost, minus your expenses. And then 50,000 is only taxable capital gains rates, not income rates. That's another way you could do it, but that'd be more for you tradesmen. But look, man, I'll tell you again about the trades. There's two types of tradesmen. There are the ones that fuck their sisters, and there's the ones who don't. The ones who don't do it right, they show up on time, do it according to code. They're the ones that make the money. The sister fucker variety are the ones who are drunk. They don't show up on time. They don't do it right. They hate their lives, and they bitch and whine about the big man, mate. He bills me out at $150 an hour, and he only pays me twice because you don't show up on time and you're drunk. It's because you don't do your job. That's why they only pay $35 an hour, right? Because you're the one who, I don't know, show up on time, do the job right, and then guess what? Then you can start your own company. But for a skilled carpenter, you're not even dealing with, you're just doing it yourself. You're getting it all done yourself. So you're not dealing with, I got to hire this, I got to hire that out. You might know a buddy who's a reliable electrician, like while you're doing the plumbing, he's doing the electric work. But that's for people with a certain set of skills. Well, there you are. All right, let's go to Super Chat. Vlad Elkins, depreciation recapture. I wish folks knew about it. That's why I could get past the enrolled. Chad, do you remember that time you said there's no way I could pass the enrolled agent exam, and I pretty much did? Those are good times. I'll be on with Vlad Elkins later on this afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central time. You do the math for the rest of the time zones. Justified Misagony, $2 should be getting a raise at 100,000 net worth, no debt. Nice, dude. Justified, you keep going that way, you will have that nice little villa in Mexico doing Americans' taxes when you're down south there. Remember, my room, I want to face in the beach, big windows, right? With blackout blinds. I want to sleep nice when I'm down there. And then if you could have like not a big one, but a nice water fountain. All right. I want a water fountain in my room so I can fall asleep to the falling water. I would appreciate that. Link below, Bachelor Pad Economics, the Financial Advice Bible for Men. Please look into Jason Hartman if you're interested in investing in real estate on a more professional level, I would say. Tell Jason I sent him to you. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.